Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
I saw a couple days ago. I didn't get to comment on this yet, but I saw a couple days ago. A lot of people sent me this tweet. I don't know who Sean Devaney is, but it was just a tweet from the NBA Central out of nowhere that was like, the Philadelphia 76ers have their sights set on Kevin Durant. And I was like, I mean, I have my sights set on the lottery. I've had my sights set on, Megan Thee Stallion before. Actually, like 10 years ago, it was Nicki Minaj for me personally. I'm just letting you know. I had my sights set on Nicki Minaj. That didn't happen. You could set your sights on something. Does that, that's how I feel about tweets like this. But, they have their sights set on Kevin Durant. I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean we're calling the Nets like, hey, we'll offer you this, this, and this? So I read the article. I read a couple of articles, and one of them was basically like the Brooklyn Nets have not budged on an offer, and so there's no traction whatsoever. So then they're basically admitting that, that you just tweeted it for retweets, really, and attention and follows. I can't find any other reason. What do you think? I'm basically saying it's impossible to me for the Sixers to ever get Kevin Durant in the next year or two. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I would say number one, I think KD's going to be traded by the deadline just on how the Nets season's going, but I don't see the Nets trading him to an Eastern Conference opponent, and I don't see them making another deal with us considering how the last deal went with Ben Simmons and James Harden. But the only way it's possible is if they really, really value Tyrese Maxey over everyone else who's, the other teams are willing to give up. Like, I can see the Suns offering Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, and all their picks. The Sixers don't have all their picks, so they would have to value Tyrese Maxey more than DeAndre Ayton and a bunch of players, and then plus picks is basically what I'm saying. Plus, I don't really want to vote for Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers. First off, let me repeat. James Harden, Kevin Durant, Doc Rivers, Joel Embiid. I'm sorry, but that just got a lot of loser energy based on the playoff resume. And it just feels like it's going to fall flat on their face because what super teams have worked? The Heat, because they have a culture. The Warriors, because they have a culture. If Kevin Durant came here, it would just basically be, Kevin Durant, it's your turn. James Harden, it's your turn. Joel Embiid, it's your turn. Basically the same problem we already have. So I just feel like it's going to fail. So I'm not getting my hopes up, and I don't really want it to happen either because I love Mac.
I think the best super team that I've ever seen personally, or I guess the most enjoyable, or I guess the super team that looked like it was natural, was actually the 2008 Boston Celtics. I think that was aside from like Julius Erving and Mo Cheeks and what's the big dude in the 70s. Anyway, there were super teams back in the day, but the Boston Celtics super team was, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo, and Paul Pierce. And they all four played different positions, and they all four fit together perfectly and complemented each other perfectly. And there wasn't like one guy that was kind of leading the charge. It was well-distributed ball with one of the best distributing point guards in the game at the time. Then the LeBron team was like, okay, LeBron in his prime, he joins Wade. They didn't win as many as they should have either. He said they were going to win 5, so he's forever a liar for that. The Warriors, you get 2 of the best three-point shooters of all time, maybe the best 2 three-point shooters of all time on the same team. You can just kind of put players around them, and they're going to win. They put the right players around them every single time. And the 2016 team had a bench so deep that the bench probably could have, been a 5th seed by themselves. But yeah, I wouldn't like that either. I'm getting uneasy about the whole direction of this team because, and you said it this offseason, the age of these players and what Daryl Morey's doing with win now, but really he's kind of gone after a couple players that he feels like just played well with James Harden 5 years ago. And so let's go get those guys. Adding Kevin Durant Does that get us a ring? If everybody stays healthy, it does. I think it definitely does if you're not giving up James Harden. James obviously has no issue being a facilitator, taking a back seat. He took a back seat to Durant, the games that he got to play with him in Brooklyn, which was like 7 games in 2 years. But I think it would work perfectly if you got Durant. Would I personally enjoy it? No, I wouldn't. And I wouldn't enjoy it because I feel like, I don't know, Philly's a blue-collar town. I grew up watching Philly sports. We were always underdogs. We were always grinded out and build a team the right way. And not that the Sixers ever won in my lifetime, but I watched the Phillies do it the right way. I watched the Eagles do it the right way. I would feel cheap about it. I just would. And people don't like when I say that. I would feel cheap about it. I would feel cheap turning on my TV and watching Kevin Durant in a Sixers uniform. I would feel cheap about it. And I know a lot of people I think that aren't as emotionally tied to the team would be like, yeah, but we got a ring, so shut up, you're dumb. And I get that. You can have your perspective, but I wouldn't be a fan of it in general, but I don't think it's possible anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible, and I wouldn't be a fan of it. Plus, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see anything working with Doc Rivers. if I'm being real,
people are saying no. I wouldn't give up Tyrese Maxey, and again, I don't want to see Kevin Durant in a Sixers jersey. I just don't want to see it. I have a disdain for the guy. It is what it is. But like, would that even move the needle? Like, you know what I mean? If you're the Nets and you're sitting here saying, all right, this guy already requested a trade in the offseason, we told him no. Here we go again. And the Sixers call you up and say, hey, we'll give you Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, and whatever first-round picks we can find in our couch cushions, which, like, what ones do we even have? We have, like, a 2023, I think, or we don't even have our 2023. We have a 2024? I don't even know.
You only can trade our 2029 first-round pick, supposedly.
Hey, we'll give you Tyrese Maxey and a 2029 first-round pick. Yeah, that ain't...
Because Joel will probably be gone by then. I mean, that's 7 years. It's a long way away. There might be a Victor Wembanyama 5.0 by then. There's going to be 8-footers in the league at that time.
Right, so there's clear teams that if you're the Nets and you really want to blow it up, which... I mean, they did that years ago. They built a nice, solid core, and then they traded that entire core for James Harden. And that turned out the way it turned out. But yeah, if you're the Brooklyn Nets and you really want to blow it up again, you're going to get a plethora of draft picks from somebody. OKC, Phoenix, who else? Utah. Maybe Utah just turns around and flips the Rudy Gobert trade and says, hey, we got a bunch of first-round picks.
Yeah, keep in mind the Minnesota Timberwolves completely messed up the whole market. So now they're going to be demanding like 10 first-round picks for Kevin Durant, or how many are possible to trade.
Yeah, the only thing working in other teams' favor is his age right now because, you know, obviously he's still great. Last year he had a sprained knee. Was out for 8 weeks, but that wasn't a major injury. Hasn't had a major injury since the torn Achilles. But yeah, it's still like one of those things where when a player's 34, you're like, all right, I know he's going to fall off soon, right? Soon. Like LeBron James looked like he was never going to slow down, and then all of a sudden 2 years in a row, it's like, oh, look, he's human. He's slowing down a little bit. So yeah, you're trading for a guy that you know isn't going to be at that level for 5 more years, definitely. I think that's the only like strength or thing that's in favor of the team that's trying to trade for him is his age.